June 2nd, Tuesday morning. My alarm erupts with a shrieking scream and scares me awake. My eyes don't open immediately, and instead I find myself tossing and turning, trying to bury my face in my pillow. I can't have had more than 2 hours of sleep, and now it's already time to get up and go to work. How the hell am I going to function today? I drag my heavy body from the bed and slide into the pair of slippers resting on the floor. With a yawn and a stretch, I leave my bedroom. I stand in the kitchenette connected to the living room for a few moments, completely absent-minded. I open the refrigerator and stare blankly at the dismal contents. A small tub of peach yogurt sits on the top shelf and a half-empty jug of oolong tea rests at the bottom. I grab the yogurt and peel off the lid. Without even fetching a spoon, I simply pour a little into my mouth. Ooh. I consume about half of the tiny portion and wipe my mouth before throwing the leftovers in the trash can. That will be enough to spike my energy for the morning. When you normally run on an empty stomach, any amount of calories can work as a pick-me-up. I make a mental note to collect 2 or 3 cans of coffee from the convenience store on my way to work. They should carry me through the rest of the day. The rest of the early morning is spent applying makeup and getting dressed. I'm out the door at the same time as every other day. To stop myself from nodding off at my desk, I decide to rearrange my personal effects. Having something to focus on is a great way to fight off sleep. Unlike the other employees here, I don't tend to keep too much at my workspace. Yet it still manages to feel cluttered somehow. Next to my computer monitor are 3 little figurines that I collected from toy capsule machines. They're a set of anthropomorphic coffee cans that were released as a promotional campaign for my favorite coffee brand. Each figure is about the size of my thumb. They're cute little things, and when you put a coin into the capsule machine, you never know which character you're going to get. So far, I've managed to collect Captain Café au lait, Lieutenant Long Black, and Madame Macchiato. If I remember correctly, there are 2 more I still need to get. But the capsule machines seem to be out of rotation now because they've been replaced with a different series of toys. If I ever want to collect the remaining figures, I'll probably need to buy them online. Oh well, I'm not super invested in having to own all of them. I give each tiny figure a bit of a dusting and set them back up next to my monitor, so they're all standing up straight and facing forward. Satisfied that they're tidy, I look to the small tray of drawers that sit on the other side of my monitor. I mainly just store papers and office memos in them. They're not really big enough to hold anything much larger than documents. I rummage through the drawers and discard a few old notices that aren't relevant anymore. When I'm done, I file away a couple of loose papers that have been fluttering around my desk for the last week. With that complete, I straighten up my keyboard so it's parallel with my mouse pad. I give the keyboard a thorough dusting and then lean back in my chair to admire my work. The desk looks much nicer now. A clean workspace invites a clear state of mind, or so my coworkers would have me believe. Maybe I'll buy into that a little bit, now that I can see the effects for myself. The corner of my eyes catch a glimpse of blonde hair, and I turn to watch Tomo enter the office. She nods at Shinya as she walks by his desk and continues nonchalantly toward her own workspace. Noriko, did you remember to take whatever you left in Tomo's drawer out of it? Please tell me you did. Since her desk is in my line of sight, I have the perfect vantage point to watch her put her belongings down and take a seat. I feel a sudden stirring of excitement as she sits down. It's almost as if I'm anticipating something to happen. Was something supposed to happen with Tomo today? Have I forgotten something important? Noriko, please. My tired mind can't really focus on those thoughts. I tried to ignore the mild surge of adrenaline that started pulsing through me when she took her seat. I distract myself by starting up my computer and looking over the list of today's tasks. It looks as though I need to correct a few entries I uploaded to the company server yesterday. In my previously distracted state, it's possible I made a few typographical errors. That's fair enough. I'll get to work on correcting the data. I open up a few programs and listen to the whirring of my computer tower, nearly drowned out in the clamor of the office environment. The next sound I hear eclipses the noise of the computer and the office completely and absolutely. Terrified shriek slices through the air like a knife, leaving a deathly ringing silence in its wake. I scramble to my feet purely out of instinct, scanning for the source of the scream. I don't have to look very far before my eyes fall upon a distressed Tomoe kneeling on the floor and clutching her face. She's on the ground next to her desk, staring down unblinkingly, her fingers white from the strain of clawing at her own head. Oh, until this point, I assumed that Noriko put in like a fake death version of her own body into Tomoe's drawer, but did you make a fake death version of Tomoe? In the sudden chaos of people rushing to her side, I somehow managed to notice that one of the drawers on her desk is wide open. An open drawer? As tired and exhausted as I am, the significance of the open drawer isn't lost on me. I immediately realized why my body subconsciously felt excited when Tomoe came into the office this morning. I left something in her desk drawer, something I wanted her to find. Yesterday's obsession with discovering the identity of the one who requested my death caused me to forget my rebellious strike against Tomoe. I left something in her drawer yesterday thinking she was the one who submitted my photo to the website. Then she didn't come into work and it completely slipped my mind. After she confessed to requesting Akane Tsurumaki's death, I erased my suspicion of her being the one who targeted me, but I didn't remove the item from her drawer. I'm in deep shit now. Before I can even lurch forward from behind my desk, Tomoe turns her head to face me. Her cold, grim eyes lock onto mine, refusing to let go. A trickle of crimson blood seeps from her scalp, where her fingernails pierced her skin during her panicked scream. Swallowing my nervousness, I break eye contact with her and stare down at the flat object that was the focus of her outcry. It's a familiar photograph, a printed image on glossy paper, traditional, old school, and just as effective as I had hoped. Though I can't make out all the detail from this distance, the composition of the photo doesn't elude my memory. No, it was her own body, yes. It depicts my very own corpse, toppled backward over a tombstone. A bloody slash traces across my neck, a laceration lines my stomach, and a knife protrudes from my breast. It is a knife, yeah. For some reason, it looked just like a piece of wood. My black hair is a tangled mess, my dark eyeliner smeared and smudged. The grimace on my face is the unmistakable mask of death. Noriko Kurosawa, stoic and unflinching in death. Noriko Kurosawa, dead atop a random tombstone in some nameless cemetery. A bizarre yet ultimately unremarkable way to die. It suits me perfectly. I'm proud of the work that went into this photo. The objective was to punish Tomoe for requesting my death, to create a work of art so horrific that she would beg for forgiveness when she found me still breathing. But the scene playing out before me is unlike anything I had imagined. Tomoe's face is scrunched up with hatred, the veins in her forehead threatening to burst and shower the office with sanguine gore at any given second. Whether or not she thinks this is some sick prank is beyond my knowledge. All I can decipher from her expression is that she's likely to strangle me given the opportunity. But perhaps I'm jumping ahead of myself. Why do I automatically assume that she believes I'm guilty of putting the photo in her drawer? I mean, aren't I the victim in the image? Perhaps she actually...
Who the fuck is responsible for this?
She howls like a wounded animal, a battered and beaten pup backed into a corner. Clutching the photo now torn from her bloodied fingernails, she stands and plants her feet firmly on the floor. Steadfast, stern, resolute, a bulwark of immovable fury. All eyes are upon her. The bleached blonde gal girl with an antagonizing attitude is the center of attention in the office.
This photo is disgusting! Absolutely sick! Who made it?
From the confused and puzzled faces of the 20 or so employees huddled around, it's obvious that no one really knows what Tomoe is talking about. The photo is small, and with her clutching it tightly and waving it around frantically, it's impossible for anyone to make out the detail. I'm bold enough to assume that no one else has managed to properly glimpse it yet. And maybe I can prevent our coworkers from getting a closer look if I act fast. I dart out from behind my desk and approach Tomoe.
Let me see.
Tomoe aggressively thrusts the photo toward me. I take a cursory look at it and gasp loudly to add credibility to my acting. Adopting a fake countenance of shock, I grab Tomoe by the shoulder and pull her close to me. I bow my head against hers so we stand intimately in the middle of the crowd, forehead to forehead, our eyes fixated on one another. I hope my beating heart isn't loud enough for Tomoe to notice as we stand against each other. I whisper softly, my pulse quickening as I try to make my words sound urgent and confident rather than broken and anxious.
Come with me. I need to talk to you.
Tomoe tenses and stiffens, but she murmurs something that sounds like agreement. I pull away from her and grab her wrist to lead her out of the office. We exit from the throng of onlookers, scratching their heads, and dart toward the elevator. Shinya says nothing as we pass him, he just looks on with a pale face. The elevator ride down is silent and awkward, but eventually the doors open to reveal the ground floor lobby. We weave between the scattered couches and sculptures, making a frantic dash for the exit. We finally emerge outside into the brisk morning air. Trying hard to catch my breath, I notice that Tomoe isn't nearly as exhausted as I am, while she has probably eaten. I want to chalk up my wheezing condition to a lack of sleep, but I know that's just an excuse for my poor physical fitness. Tomoe is still holding the photo in her hand. She looks at it once more in disgust, then faces me with one hand on her hip.
You want to tell me what the fuck this is?
Look, it's difficult to explain, but I'll try my best.
I want to find out who planted this in my drawer. And look at this!
She thrusts the photo at me once again. She uses the point of her thumb to indicate the timestamp printed at the bottom of the image.
It's got yesterday's date on it. A photo of your dead body, as if you've already been killed. But here you stand.
Sure enough, the photo bears yesterday's date. The time states 9:06 p.m. I marked it as such when I was under the belief that Tomoe would find it yesterday morning. I wanted her to anxiously wait out the day until my death accompanied the rising moon. Since that didn't go down the way I planned, the confusion on Tomoe's face now is self-explanatory.
I just can't believe that corpse girl wants you dead.
What did she say?
Huh? This is just like what happened to Akane Tsurumaki when I requested her death. The police found a photo of her own dead body on her phone when they investigated how she died.
What? Is this public knowledge? How did I not know this?
And now you've got a similar photo. Does that mean Corpse Girl is trying to kill ya? But it doesn't make sense. It's already past the time it says here. And why was the photo in my desk drawer? What do I gotta do with it?
I'm still reeling from the information about Akane Tsurumaki. The police discovered the corpse photo on her phone. Of course they did. Of course they would investigate her death. It was foolish of me to assume the photo wouldn't come to light. Tomoe grits her teeth and tenderly touches a finger to the bloody cut on her scalp, the place her fingernails slashed in anguish. She looks at her fingertip in a revulsion and sighs. In
Look,
revulsion.
Maybe it's my fault that Akane Tsurumaki ended up down the well. Maybe it's not. The least I can do is make sure that the fucking corpse girl doesn't come to get you as well. You ain't my friend or nothing, but sluts gotta stick it out together, right? I don't want another cold bitch on my conscience.
I feel like these are the most touching words Tomoe can string together. I'm somewhat flattered that she wants to protect me.
Tomoe, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I kinda do, you know? You comforted me a little when I came to you about the dead skank. Made me feel like I wasn't totally to blame, yeah? You might not be as much of a psycho as I thought. Might be a heart beating behind that flat chest.
Okay. Thanks.
Feel like you added a few unnecessary things there, but sure. Unexpectedly, the brash and brazen girl beams at me brightly.
I'm putting you under 24-hour surveillance. Corpse Girl's gonna have to crack my skull open before she goes sticking her fingers into yours.
Tomoe, really, that's not necessary.
I can't figure out a way to convey that I'm not actually in any danger. Well, immediate danger at any rate. It's true that there is someone out there who wants me dead badly enough to have requested it through the website. But as far as the threat of Corpse Girl coming to get me goes, I'm perfectly safe. I resign myself to simply staring blankly at Tomoe, the girl I hold so much disdain for. I know I should choose my next words carefully. Tomo is prone to violent outbursts at even the best of times. Sure. Go on.
I feel better with you looking after me.
You're damn right. Ain't no one gonna protect you as good as me.
Tomo reaches forward and ruffles my hair in a tomboyish manner. I grimace and bear it until she's satisfied and retracts her arm with a laugh.
Nah, what are we gonna do? I don't totally believe this corpse girl person really exists, but still. Something or other killed Akane Tsurumaki. Pretty sure it wasn't suicide, what with the photo and all. Since you got one of them photos too, I reckon someone's out to get you.
Yeah, about that.
How about we hunker down at my place after work? Gals night in, right? If someone tries to break down the door to get to you, I'll show them what's what.
She really is insistent. I almost can't believe this is the same girl that slapped me across the face last week. I feel like we could almost be friends at this rate, but what happens when she finds out I'm not actually in any danger? Will she think I used her? Betrayed her? What if she finds out that I'm Corpse Girl? That would probably be the trigger that provokes her into slashing my throat herself. Tired as I am and feeling weak of will, I simply nod.
Sure. Let's go to your place after work.
Yeah, that's what's up. We'll do a snack run, okay? Gotta have chocolate and cake on a night like this.
All of a sudden, she freezes and stares intently into my eyes.
Shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to...
It's fine. Snacks sound good.
Hey, don't feel pressured to eat, okay? I got a big appetite, so nothing will go to waste.
She grins, looking proud of herself. My expression softens somewhat. Somehow Tomo is displaying the minimum amount of human decency, and yet it's very touching. We've somehow broken down a wall between us and removed the animosity that has hung in the air since the day we met. Suddenly she reaches out her hand, the photograph held gently between her fingers.
Here. Better you have it than me.
Looking down at the photo, it's pretty clear that it's me in the image. I suppose it would be best to delete this evidence. And by delete, you mean burn, I think? Hopefully? I shred the photo... Shred? Okay, sure. Carefully, making sure to completely destroy any of my defining features in the image. With the photo completely ripped beyond recognition, I toss it in a nearby bin. Tomoe smiles at me, and we enter the office building, side by side. Tomoe's apartment is not at all like I expected it would be. For starters, it's not an absolute trash heap like it always was in my mind's eye. The place is nice, fairly modern, and probably not that cheap. She lives on the outskirts of Shinjuku, so she's a lot closer to the office than I am. That probably explains why she's usually so punctual despite her terrible work ethic. It does look like a pretty nice apartment. Pretty open, especially for, I suppose, a Japanese apartment, which are usually rather about like a quarter of the size of this. Looks very nice. Depends, I guess, on where exactly the balcony leads to as well, I suppose. From what I can gather from my first impressions, she lives alone. A few photo frames near the entrance feature some family members, including a younger brother and sister. It's funny because she doesn't seem like the older sister type to me. It's also quite a nice painting, actually. The personal effects decorating the apartment aren't cheap and tacky, much to my surprise. I immediately get the feeling that she earns more money than I do, even though we have the same job. Though, how could that be? We're both simple data entry temps. We'd surely be on the same contract and the same salary. I suppose she is a little bit older than me. Maybe she had a well-paying job before starting work at Temujin. Or maybe she has a side job. Either way, there's no way she could afford to live here on the same salary as me.
So, would you like a cup of tea? I've got oolong, green, barley, hojicha.
So many to choose from. I didn't take you as much of a tea drinker.
Why was green and red?
Well, of course I am. It's tradition, you know. Tradition's real important.
Huh. Yeah, I guess so. Hojicha for me, please.
Sure. Coming right up.
As Tomo busies herself in the kitchen nook, I continue scanning the apartment. A fairly large TV sits atop a sleek cabinet against one wall of the living area. A comfortable-looking sofa fills most of the room but gives way to a small kotatsu in the corner. During winter, a kotatsu is a very valuable piece of furniture. It's a small low table with a blanket to cover your legs. Underneath is a tiny space heater designed to warm up the enclosed area.
I like your kotatsu. I can't even fit one in my apartment.
Oh yeah, they're great, right? Dad actually made that one for me.
Your dad made it?
I look closely at it. I don't know much about woodwork, but the whole thing looks very solid and well made. Even the blanket spread underneath the table's surface is pleasing to look at.
It's probably not cold enough to flick the heater on, but feel free to sit down there if you like.
No, that's okay. I'm warm enough.
A memory of my childhood flickers at the edges of my mind like a moth dancing around a flame. Sitting at a kotatsu as a child with a warm cup of cocoa and my big sister reading a book aloud to me. I shake my head. That was too long ago to even attempt to remember clearly, and the past never really mattered much to me anyway. Tomoe has finished pouring tea, so she sits 2 ceramic mugs atop the coffee table and calls out to me.
Tea's up!
Thank you.
So, we gotta protect you from Corpse Girl, right?
I simply nod.
Hey, wait a minute. If you got one of them photos, that means someone requested your death, right? This whole time, I've been thinking it's Corpse Girl that wants you dead. But that ain't right. It means that someone else just asked Corpse Girl to put you in the ground.
Now we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's what I figure.
She's not wrong. While Corpse Girl isn't actually after me, it's true that there is somebody who requested my death.
Huh. So who do you think it is? Who wants you dead?
Well, until yesterday I assumed it was you.
Well, honestly, at first I thought it was you.
Yeah, I mean, last week I might have been tempted to chuck your photo on the website, but nah.
Who cares what I thought last week?
You work right near me in the office. If you ended up dead, someone would trace it back to me, you know?
That is the only reason why.
I dobbed in Akane Tsurumaki because she worked way upstairs. And we never talked, save one time when I found out she's a total skank.
Oh? So you did speak to her once? What was she like?
Fucking slut, that one. We met in the lobby. I was on one of them couches doing my makeup because I was in early one morning. She walks past me, gives me one of them looks all those snooty rich people give you. You know the type, like, I'm better than you and I know it. But you know what she said to me?
What did she say?
She says this. Honey, please wait for your clients outside the building.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I don't blame her anymore for putting her photo up.
Huh? What did she mean?
Oh, Noriko, please.
Ugh, don't you get it? She was implying that I'm a hooker or something. Just by looking at me, she decided I didn't belong in the office building.
Ah.
It really pissed me off. I'm sick of people judging me like that. Yeah, I look different from y'all, but so what? I got my own style, so just fuck off.
So you're not a hooker?
God damn it.
Bitch. You're lucky I'm in a good mood.
I can't help but laugh along with her.
Sorry, I was just kidding.
Yeah, I know. You're not so bad, Noriko Kurosawa.
Thanks. You're not so bad yourself, Tomoe Watanabe.
We share another laugh and I feel my tense and guarded persona slowly slipping away. This girl, this person that I detested just days ago, did I have her all wrong? We clashed countless times while working together, but now we're suddenly becoming closer. Why is that? It's almost as though some sort of maternal instinct kicked into gear inside Tomoe and she feels the urge to keep me safe. Is it guilt over Akane Tsurumaki's death? Is it because she's happier overall now that she has a boyfriend? Does dating Shinya make her less pissed off at the world and less eager to lash out? I don't know the answer, but I'm glad we've been able to set aside our differences.
Right. Now we've got some tea. Why don't we watch some trashy TV?
It's not exactly my preferred way to spend an evening, but Tomoe has welcomed me into her home. We've all but buried the hatchet. It's only fair that I extend the hand of friendship as well.
Okay. Trashy TV sounds great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Tomoe cheers and picks up the television remote with a quick flick of her wrist. June 3rd, Wednesday morning. Another dull morning in the office. The chatter of people talking on the phone, the humming of the air conditioner, the tapping of fingers against keyboards. If I didn't have music to drown out the white noise, I'd probably go mad from being exposed to it every day. I don't know how everyone else deals with it. Thanks to a good night's rest, I've been able to work diligently so far. I've completed a few tasks already, but there is still a lot more work to do. As I continue to pulverize my keyboard with thin, brittle fingers, I look out over the office floor to see who is around. Shinya sits at his desk, his expression scrunched up in concentration, and he absent-mindedly scratches his face with the blunt end of a pen. Turning my gaze, I observe the back of Tomoe's head as she works attentively at her computer. She hasn't said anything to me since we arrived at the office this morning. Because I now know that she's not the one who requested my death, I feel more at ease around her. And with the photo of my own corpse destroyed, I can put yesterday's unplanned events behind me. I need to be more careful in the future. Forgetting that I planted a photo like that in Tomoe's desk drawer was an oversight I can't afford to repeat. I need to be clever, calculated, cunning. Corpse Girl's ambitions require me to be at peak performance at all times. Can't go messing up like that again. I'm lucky that no one else was dragged into the whole mess. Imagine if I did something so stupid when trying to kill a real victim. I would have ruined the entire operation. Taking a deep breath, I clap my cheeks softly with both hands. From now on, I'm going to truly focus when carrying out my plans. All I need to do is wait for the next victim to come through the website. I'm ready for it. Finding out the identity of whoever requested my own death shouldn't be my top priority. I'm immune to Corpse Girl's wrath, of course, so unless someone decides to come at me with a knife, I'm perfectly safe. I'll check the website requests this evening as soon as I get home. It's too risky to try and access it while at work. With newfound resolve, I nod to myself and look ahead to the end of the day. You're assuming that Tomoe isn't just gonna come with you no matter where you go. She isn't, apparently. Alright, we just, protected her for, I don't know, half a day. Now her job's done, apparently. Sure. The flickering notification on my laptop screen prompts a wicked grin to split my face in two. One new request. I don't waste any time before opening up the details of the request. My heart begins to pound and I feel the welcome rush of adrenaline flooding through my body. What are the odds of it being a photo of her again? Today, 10:55 a.m. Okay, it's not her. Good. My eyes widen at the sight of the uploaded photo. Two people, two identical women. Well, they're not quite identical. The left girl's hair color is a bit darker than the right one's. The woman on the left is circled in red. She's obviously the requested victim, but without knowing them personally, it's impossible to distinguish between the two. They both have the same stunning features, lustrous hair, and contagious smiles. This truly is an interesting request. I immediately jump to the conclusion that one twin wants the other dead. That's not the only possibility, but I'd like to think it's the case. Makes it exciting. This type of request only serves to reinforce my resolve. I can't wait to start gouging out the victim's eyes. She will leave behind a truly beautiful corpse. As I wait for my secret weapon, the database of the deceased, to load up, my phone tingles beside me on the couch. It's a noise message from none other than Kojiro. Hey, you there? About last time. Hi. Hey, that guy, Eiichi Hanada, gone today. Is that so? Where did he go? Cremated. Family didn't collect him. Limited space, you know how it is. I don't quite know why Kojiro decided to tell me this. I suppose he still thinks I requested Eiichi's death, so... I see. More names? What? Want me to look up more names? Corpse Girl's victims? Sorry, I don't have any more names for you. Shame. Tell me if you request more deaths. Oh, and do you know her identity? Who? Corpse Girl? Yes. No, sorry, I don't know who she is. Okay. Is it you? Jeez, are we back to this again? No, it's not me. I'm not as clever as all that. Okay. How does she kill? I'm not sure. Okay. What do you know? All I know is that the victim receives a photo of their own corpse before they die. Everyone knows that. My dog knows that. It's her calling card. You had a request fulfilled. Tell me more. I don't know what else to tell you. Lame. Okay. By the way, I saw the photo. What photo? Eiichi Hanada. Photo on his phone. The calling card. Huh? How did Kojiro see it? Sure, he deals with dead bodies, but surely personal possessions are removed from the deceased before they enter the morgue. I need to play it cool here and not invite any more suspicion of myself. Are you talking about the photo that Corpse Girl supposedly sends her victims? Yes. Funny thing, was definitely the guy, but photo didn't match cause of death. The photo didn't match the cause of death. I remember crafting Eiichi Hanada's photo, of course. It wasn't all that long ago. I used a base image of a corpse with dismembered legs hanging over a power line. It was a memorable image after all. It made a fearsome sight, but it's not something that could be easily replicated by suicide, or by murder for that matter. So I never really expected Eiichi to wind up looking like the photo. From what I read in the obituary, he died in a traffic accident. He must have been driving or he was a pedestrian. Either way, it was likely a collision with a vehicle. For starters, cadaver still has both legs. No legs in the photo. Did you know that? No, I didn't know. I haven't seen the photo you're talking about. You haven't? Interesting. So Corpse Girl doesn't share with the requester. Hang on. Okay, so only the victim sees the photo. Here. Kojiro shares a photo in the chat. Sure enough, it's a snapshot of the corpse photo I produced for Eiichi Hanada. He must have copied it from the victim's phone. The photo from Corpse Girl. Compared to this. Another photo is shared in the chat. This one I haven't seen before. It's Eiichi Hanada's true corpse sprawled forward in the driver's seat of a wrecked car. Seeing a genuine corpse photo doesn't come as much of a surprise to me. After all, I've spent countless hours trawling through the database of the deceased. I've seen more than my fair share of destroyed lives. There's not too much blood in this photo. It's kind of lame compared to the gorgeous rendition of his death that I lovingly crafted. It's still not entirely evident what led to Eiichi's car collision. This very well could have been a genuine accident. For my own ego, I have to at least pretend that Corpse Girl had a hand in it. Thoughts? The real death doesn't match Corpse Girl's photo at all. Why do you think that is? I feel pretty clever and manipulative by putting the question on Kojiro. I want to lessen the suspicion of my true involvement as much as possible. You're asking me? Well, some theories. Corpse Girl's photo is a scare tactic, nothing more, but don't know where photo comes from. She convinces the victim to kill themselves. What the hell? How could his very first theory be right on the money? Just who is this guy? It's not exactly very far-fetched. Is he stalking me or something? He does seem crazier than Noriko at this point, though, to be honest. Does he actually know the truth? Second theory. Corpse Girl comes after victims, but a genuine accident happened first. Eiichi Hanada died before she got to him. His second theory is off the mark, but I can see why he came to that conclusion. Regardless, this is the theory I want him to believe. I think the second theory is most likely. Why would someone kill themselves from seeing a photo? Doubting my own methods like this leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Not that simple. The photo is personal and time-stamped, adds urgency, realism. Could be effective, especially in someone anxious or gullible. He's right, of course. Although causing death in this manner was never my intention when I first started Corpse Girl's website, it's a possibility that did occur to me when Rori Hatano died. Wait a minute, how did you even get these two photos? Now she asks. Police on scene like to share, more morbid the better. That guy with corpse photo on his phone fits the bill. They sent me both photos. We played Spot the Difference. That would have been a very, very boring game of Spot the Difference. What's the difference between these two photos? Well, everything. Disgusting. I never knew the police could be so disrespectful to the dead. Well, I can't really talk, at the very least I'm not in that line of work. Anyway. Coffee? Uh-huh. Get coffee with me. Yes? No? Unbelievable. This guy wants to meet up and grab coffee? Has this conversation really given him the feeling that I'm interested in him? Does he think we've bonded over a discussion of dead bodies? I'm about to tell him no, but some part of me hesitates and holds my fingers. Kojiro has connections. The morgue, the police. It's not inconceivable that he might be a useful tool in the future. At this stage, I'm about 80% sure he doesn't know my true identity. It might be safe to meet up with him. On the other hand, I get the impression that even if he knew who I really am, he'd only be impressed. It's a gamble. It could be beneficial, or it could lead to me being caught out. Might even get arrested for my involvement in 3 deaths. Though, is what I'm doing really illegal? I'm not so sure. But I don't think a jury would take my side. That's why I have to err on the side of caution at all times. Kojiro. Okay, let's meet. I type the words and hit send before I have any more second thoughts. It might be a fatal mistake, but if I'm clever enough, I can wrap him around my finger and utilize his connections. Has yesterday not taught you that you're not clever enough? Cool. Message you tomorrow. Bye. Kojiro's status immediately changes to offline. I rest my phone on the couch and look back to the laptop screen in front of me. The smiling, beautiful faces of 2 identical women stare back at me. That's right, I was about to start working on this most interesting request. I still have plenty of time before I need to get to sleep. With this thought in mind, I set about my task in high spirits. June 4th, Thursday afternoon. The tiny balcony jutting out from the side of my apartment is nothing like it was advertised in a real estate listing. When I first saw the misleading photos, I thought it would be spacious and bright, an open-air hideaway that I could use to get some fresh air and improve my health. I wanted to set up a tiny garden and grow some plants, nothing that would require a lot of work, but something that could occupy my spare time. In reality, the balcony is a depressing amalgamation of steel and concrete that saps away any desire to stand upon it. It rests in the eternal shadow of the surrounding buildings and manages to catch the sun's rays for about 4 minutes every day. It's an understatement to say I was disappointed when I ventured out upon it for the first time. I suppose if nothing else, it's a good vantage point for looking out over the city, but that's the only positive thing I have to say about it. As I stand here with my back against the railing, calmly sipping a lukewarm mug of green tea, I breathe a heavy sigh. I should be at the office. I should be tapping away at my keyboard, getting through the backlog of work that has accumulated this week. Instead, I'm here at home, tired and strained and wearing thin at the seams. I called in sick this morning. I don't know if my supervisor bought the lie, but he did tell me to stay home and feel better, so that's what I've been trying to do. It's my own fault I feel this way. It's my own fault that I stayed up until 4 AM again. I know that a lack of sleep exacerbates my condition. I know that skipping meals and refusing to take medication makes me feel this way. I know that I do this to myself. I know. But this is me. This is what I do to myself as I try to take on each day. This is the way I stretch myself thin for no reason other than because some days I don't want to be better. I just want to be. I want to stay up late and work on Corpse Girl's requests. My body's need for sleep doesn't come before my ambitions. I want to eat only when necessary because when I'm slim I look beautiful. I want to be beautiful, just like her. I want to skip my medication because taking the same pills every day is a hassle and expensive, and I question whether I really need them anymore. If I can just stay at home like this, I don't need the medication. I even came out to the balcony, and that counts as being outside. So why do I need to take the pills? It's true that when I skip a few days I end up like this. I try to convince myself that I'm fine, that I'm fixed like I was some broken thing that has been magically repaired. But I end up staying inside all day with the curtains shut and my eyes locked on a screen. I know that when I stay on top of my medication, I can go to work and the park and the library without a second thought. I can get on a train and not worry about strangers breathing on me or touching me. I can go to the convenience store and leisurely look around. I even went to that restaurant last week and read a book while eating dinner, and no one even tried to cut me or abduct me. And no one tried to strangle themselves in front of me in Yuriko. Can I really only go out and do those normal things because of some tiny pills that a doctor said I'd need? Or can I do those things because I'm actually better now? Maybe I was never unwell in the first place, not irrational, just cautious, careful, concerned. I realize that my mug is empty when I bring it to my lips and taste nothing but the slightly waxy, unpleasant sensation of smudged lipstick. Well, I've been outside for long enough anyway. I'll go inside since it's getting late. Plus, I have the feeling that someone on the street below has been watching me and is waiting to climb up onto my balcony. I enter my apartment, set the mug aside, and retreat into my bedroom. My phone is where I left it, sitting face up and begging for my undivided attention. I snatch it up, unlocking the screen. I'm greeted by the last webpage I left open. It's my custom-made news alert for obituaries. From tomorrow morning, I'll be anxiously awaiting news of my latest victim's fate. I timestamped the photo with tomorrow's date, June 5th, 9:01 AM. The unlucky twin has already received the photo. I sent it out earlier today. After sending a photo, I always hide the burner phone out in the unused shed behind my apartment building. Getting the phone into the shed this morning was rather difficult. I had to cover up my face and hands with some old clothes, and I waited until nobody was in sight before dashing as fast as I could. It took me a good 10 minutes to collect myself inside the shed before I could rush back to my apartment and lock the door behind me. I don't think anyone tried to follow me. However, I know that I'm going to need to retrieve the phone again tomorrow and dispose of it. I'll check for a reply from the victim, of course, not that they ever reply, then I'll destroy the SIM and discard the phone like I always do. It might be difficult to get out there to the shed again. On top of that, I really should go to the office. Oh, and then there's one more thing I'm supposed to do tomorrow. Kojiro wants to meet for coffee. I'm not so deluded to think that I can pull off all those escapades tomorrow in my current state. I resign myself to reaching for the bottle of medication on my dresser. Maybe another week of taking these pills won't be so bad. They tend to increase my appetite, which is really annoying. It's a constant struggle to try and ignore the hunger that tears at my stomach. And it doesn't help that they wreak havoc on my libido. I never know what to expect. Sometimes I can look at those photos of Aoi on my phone and feel absolutely nothing. Other times I can simply be scrolling through noise while standing on a train and feel an overwhelming urge to explode. I do my best to dismiss my doubts and fears as I swallow 2 of the tiny tablets. I follow up with a sip of water from the bottle kept next to my bed, and I fight the urge to retch. I'll take a shower to freshen up. After that, I should curl up in bed and read. I need to conserve my strength for tomorrow, so an early night is in order. Maybe tomorrow is the day I'll finally be better. Is there anyone in the game apart from my neighbor and his daughter that don't have mental issues? Anyway.
Where the hell were you yesterday?
We're gonna end off today's episode here, and we'll talk to Tomoe next time. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time. Till then, bye.